Today we're just going to look at REST workaround. We know that when we are actually using queue parameter in Agent Studio, we are getting some errors, and today's workaround is focused on how to go beyond that hurdle and be able to successfully call CPQ REST APIs which have queue parameter. So before I begin, I'll just want you to look at this table that I've created for this demonstration. The table name is price details. It has 5 columns including part number. Part number is the column that we are going to use for querying the data. All right, let's go back and test out our agent. All right, this is a very basic setup which I have done to just test out one single piece of functionality, and that is the queue parameter. So what we're doing is we just entered a part number as 𝗲𝗁𝗏. This part number exists and the part description is Apple. Okay, so now we're able to query the table with that part number and we get the right information, as in part description, price, and the minimum order quantity. Okay, let's give it a try for another part number. Alright, so the workaround works. Now let's look into the workaround. So what we're doing is, instead of using the curly brackets, we double URL encoded the whole URL. If you just notice, until this point, this is our standard URL, REST v18 and admin custom data table name, which is what price details are. And then after that, instead of question mark, I actually have double encoded it. So its URL encoding is %3, and when you double URL encode it, it becomes %253 F, and that's what our question mark. And then here is the double URL encoded curly bracket opening, which is %25 7b. 7b is URL encoding for curly brackets. Similarly, the closing curly brackets are %7d, and by double encoding we change to %25 7d. And similarly for double quotes, we have %22 URL encoding. By double URL encoding, it becomes %25 22, and inside that we have our part number. And by double URL encoding, we are able to successfully run the queries against CPQ data tables. And you can pretty much copy the same approach for anywhere else where you have double curly brackets. Now let's look at the tools. Double click into the tool to see how we have set it up. So here you can see it's standard. We just provided instance URL and authorization. I'm using basic. If I'll go to functions, I've just created a single function which is against the data table. And in the resource path, what we have discussed, right? I just double encoded everything. So this is against this data table. And then every single identifier or keywords we had, we just double encoded special characters. For example, question mark, opening of curly brackets, ending of curly brackets, and then double quotes. And here is our single URL parameter, which is the part number. And this is the part number that is stored in the data table. So this is our workaround for the interim until we get a permanent fix for this problem. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.